Okay, we got everybody together. Everybody's a great listener for a Thursday morning. Got everybody's attention. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for coming in and grabbing a seat so quickly. We appreciate it for a Thursday morning. A beautiful day that I originally thought was going to be dark and stormy is now glorious at the University of Georgia. Well, good morning. My name is Mason Ailstock. I'm the president and CEO of the Rowen Foundation, and I truly am grateful for everyone gathering in this room to learn about a really important topic, the future of agriculture. And it's a platform that the Rowen Foundation really wants to invest in with our partners like the University of Georgia and others across the state to think strategically around how do we connect into the global food system and how does it have an impact on all of our lives? And that's the conversation we're going to have today and how we're all connected into it. We're going to hear from a wonderful industry leader here in just a couple of minutes. But before we get started, I wanted to recognize a few folks that are in the room or on their way, state and local elected officials. Representative Sam Park, I think, is here or on his way, going to be joining us. Of course, the State Executive Director of the USDA Farm Services Agency, Arthur Tripp, is here. Thank you, sir. Bringing up the rear, there we go. The Mayor of Athens, Clark County, Kelly Gertz, I think, is either here or on the way. Thank you for his time as well. And we were going to be joined by former Chairwoman Charlotte Nash, but in line with our theme around agriculture, one of her cows is having trouble with a delivery, a birth. So she is tending to that important emergency. So we will excuse her, but recognize her contribution very early on in the formation of Rowen and all of us being here today. I also would like to take a moment to recognize our board members. First, Provost Jack Hugh from UGA. Thank you. And Provost Hugh and his team, Kyle and Will, were really instrumental in helping us to pull this conversation together, and of course a wonderful board member in helping us to lead Rowen forward in all that we are achieving in our mission. We also have Bert Reeves from Georgia Tech, Vice President for Institute Relations. I know he was caught in a little bit of traffic on the way here from Atlanta, so I haven't seen him yet, but want to thank and recognize Bert Reeves. And also Sam Hinton, another board member. Sam, please stand up. We want to recognize you and all that you bring to the Rowen Foundation board as well, and appreciate your contribution. Thank you. And finally, our board chairman, Sachin Salender with SG Contracting, president of SG Contracting. He is our fearless leader at our board and guiding us. Many folks know him. I'm going to have you stand up so we can clap for you because you do a great job, and we're grateful. So again, this is an important topic to all of us, and the foundation, our Rowen project, that all of you have an opportunity, an invitation to help us fulfill our mission, to be successful, to form those partnerships, are really instrumental in that long-term success. Rowen is a long-term, multi-generational project. Our three programmatic drivers are agriculture, medicine, and the environment, and the many intersections and points of convergence between all of those, and how we can, again, think strategically, develop solutions, pour into our communities, pour into each other to create a place that really is about the future. So with that, we're going to get things started. I'm going to invite our chairman up to offer a few remarks.
Thanks, Mason. I won't talk too long because y'all are here to me. But it's great to be at the National Championship UGA campus this year. We appreciate it. I appreciate Don Leo being here today. Dean of the Experience School, great guy. Jack, thank you for hosting us today. We look forward to a great day on the University of Georgia campus. We were just talking the oldest land-grant university, public land-grant university in the country. So appreciate what's going on and appreciate Delta for doing this. I think we cut the ribbon last October here, Jack, and it's been an awesome facility. We're excited to be here today and learn. And I think the campuses and the colleges are bringing a lot to the table for our great project. The Hinton family has been so nice to give up their land and help us with this project, so we appreciate them. The Hinton family's back there, so it's not just Sam. You all stand up, I appreciate it. So give them a round. Rarely do you find that type of land in in this town, so close to so many different things, and the opportunity being very great to plan this correctly. As a civil engineer by training, that's what kind of drew me to this project. And we got great leaders like Bob Hughes and Tom Sinkbell who have done this for many years, so I appreciate you guys too. Anyways, I'm gonna turn it over to Jack and let him talk because that's what y'all are here to hear.
Okay, good morning. So I want to welcome all of you to the University of Georgia, and it's the birthplace of public higher education. So it's a different way to frame that UGA is the first public university in the country. So birthplace of public higher education. So this is the Delta Innovation Hub, as Chairman Salandra mentioned. We opened this last October. So this is a place where entrepreneurs, faculty, staff, and students gather with industry and try to get our inventions and our technologies out to the commercial place, to the public place. The state of Georgia has grown into an economic powerhouse due to great collaborations between our public research universities, industry, and of course support from the state government. Georgia's research universities educate tomorrow's workforce, but you will understand also that public research universities in general are really the engine for economic growth. We educate students, they become contributing citizens, not only to society as a whole, but I think to economic development in many different sectors of the country and many different sectors of industry. I think Mayor Burrs, if he's here, he will appreciate that public research universities are also anchors of economic stability. So what that means is every university, maybe in a big town like Atlanta, or in a small town like Athens, but we are anchors of that region's economic stability. So I would say we play an important role to the state, to the country, and to the world through the things we do: education, research, public service, and outreach. But agriculture is the #1 industry in the state, so we're very well aligned with the outstanding College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. Of course, associated with agriculture is our College of Veterinary Medicine, forestry, and of course engineering and other science-based disciplines that support biology, animal science, College of Veterinary Medicine in terms of health, well-being, and all that. So I think we're very, very well aligned with all those. Now, this Innovation Hub also houses our Student Industry Fellows Program, which is sponsored by the Delta Airline Foundation. We did get a major donation to help us renovate this building to make a very nice innovation hub for UGA, but we also house the Student Industry Fellows Program. Through this program, undergrad and graduate students from a range of disciplines apply design thinking to industry team-based projects through collaboration that are sponsored by industry, but then communities and also government. So student, community members, industry members working together. Students in the program have consulted a number of companies and communities. For example, shower industry, Athens area habitat for humanities, and also companies in Europe like Belgium-based Schroeder, which is providing smart lighting for private residential use and also company use around the world. So student industry fellows are selected through a competitive process, and they represent the future of innovation partnership. So bring the university together with companies and communities and government. I believe 3 of such fellows, 3 students are here today, and they're sitting together. So David Ang, David. David Bogusuru Banasinki.
So Dean Nick Place sends his regrets that he couldn't make it. I'm his replacement today. But I'm really happy to introduce Stefan. Stefan Caspari is the Senior Vice President and General Manager of Grain and Protein for AGCO Corporation. In this role, he leads the global operations, product management, engineering, and commercial activities of AGCO's Grain and Protein division. Prior to joining AGCO, he held several leadership positions in the areas of sales, marketing, and operations in the insurance and consulting industries, including Zurich Financial Services and Arthur D. Little. Stefan holds a degree in agricultural engineering with majors in economics and marketing from the University of Bonn in Germany, and he also just earned an AMP from Harvard. On a personal note, I worked for Stefan for 2 great years, and I was trying to think of what funny story I could tell about him when I introduced him. But in the end, what I decided to land on was this. If you look around the precision ag industry right now and how people talk about precision agriculture and data and decision agriculture, a lot of that originated under Stefan at AGCO 4 or 5 years ago when he was in charge of Fuse. So we're very lucky to have him here today to talk about the future of agriculture because he really is a light in the industry. So Stefan, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much, Chris, and it was fun working with you too. Thank you. And we did a lot of things together here. So yeah, thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for Rowen and Mason for inviting me. Thank you very much for the nice welcome. I will talk a bit about AGCO and what we do in that space. I hope I can shine the light a bit on why collaborations with the university, with partners like Rowen, are important as we advance and enhance agriculture. That is nothing that the kind of OEMs, how we call us ourselves, or how we are called, can do by ourselves. So we need that partnership, we need that platform. So thank you very much for the intro, Chris. I call Georgia home since 5 years, as you can tell from my strong southern accent. Originally, I'm from Germany. As Chris said, I grew up in Germany, lived in Switzerland for 13 years, lived in China and Brazil. So have seen a lot of different places where agriculture is at different stages. So I think that's really exciting to bring all that together. So, and as we start, I want to talk about AGCO first and then kind of zoom in a little bit into what we do in our business unit. So talking about grain and protein and what it means there. So bear with me as we go through that. But before we start, I want to give you an idea what AGCO is. So I don't know if everybody is aware what AGCO is doing, but we are actually we are actually the only full-line agricultural equipment provider. So we have anything from preparing the soil and putting a seed in the ground all the way down to producing animal protein. So most of our competitors do equipment, do construction equipment. We are the only company that does agriculture from end to end. And we serve the market on the machinery side with 4 brands, Massey Ferguson, Fendt, Valtra, and Challenger. You might have heard some of them. And that is really about anything like tractors, combines, harvesters, sprayers, so the entire full line. And then we have the grain and protein business. Grain and protein also is a multi-brand setup in itself. And we have on the grain side 2 leading brands focused on all our grain and seed and food customers. So the biggest brand here is GSI, very well known in the US. So if you drive through the Midwest from Chicago all the way down to St. Louis, I hope you get the idea of how much that is and what we are doing there. So big grain silos, material handling, conditioning systems, mainly for farmers, but also a lot of for commercial use. Kimbria is a business that is originated in Europe, in Denmark, that does similar stuff, but different. It's a turnkey solution provider focused more on the commercial side of the business. So here we're also serving big companies like Bayer Corteva with seed plants, companies in the food business with complete food mill solutions. So that's actually a little bit further down in the value chain. So GSI mainly on storage, Kimbria on processing. And then on the protein side, we have 3 brands, AP, Cumberland, and Techno. AP is our production systems brand for swine production. Cumberland is doing pretty much the same on the poultry side. It's the house, it's the ventilation, it's the environmental control, it's feeding, watering. So it's pretty anything that you want and need in a production system. And Techno is commercial egg laying. So chicken in commercial egg buildings with the entire egg laying equipment. So as you can tell, a pretty broad portfolio in what we're doing here, various different customer segments, but all facing similar challenges and need similar solutions. So it's pretty exciting time to be in that environment. So one of the things that we try to do, what we want to do at AGCO is we want to really do everything what we can to put the farmers, the customer success in the center. So solving their problems, understanding their problems is one of our bigger drivers. So we put that in our purpose, which is farmer-focused solutions to sustainably feed the world, and also in our vision to be the most trusted partner for industry-leading and smart solutions. So you see here, it's about farmers and it's about smart solutions, and that's what I'm going to tell about today. We have recently kind of refreshed our strategic work, as every company is doing now and then, and our strategy, as I said, puts the farmer in the center. A lot of companies are doing that, so what makes us unique, or what do we think makes us unique? So we kind of put that on 3 different pillars. The first one is driving an exceptional customer experience. So what does that mean? We want to create a consistency along the entire life cycle that you have with a company that really provides value and adds value to everything you do, not only in the sales process, but also in the service process, in the support process, and in the consulting process. So we gain a lot of knowledge through our owned farms. So we operate future farms, how we call them, around the globe. One is here in the US, one is in Switzerland and Europe, and one is in Africa, where we really apply new technologies, where we apply different seeds, different fertilizers to see how the entire system works together and want to provide that to the customer. So that experience we want to bring to the customer as we try to understand their day-to-day problems and their day-to-day challenges. The second pillar is about the solution itself. So ultimately, quality is what counts. It's about uptime. So farmers need their equipment when it matters. There's only that amount of seed season. There's only that amount of harvesting season. So it needs to work during that time. And with that, we want to maximize the outcome. So ultimately, if the farmer is successful, we are successful. So their success is the secret to ours, we believe. So that's why it's so important. And the last thing is about the customer-connected distribution. So we kind of serve our customers through a distribution network, and we want to serve these farmers along this entire life cycle, as I said earlier, but also at the different touch point they want to do that. So sometimes they want to interact with their farmers, with the dealers, sometimes they need to interact with us. So we want to build that intersection and really kind of create a partnership with our distribution network that finally helps to provide better results and outcomes to the farmers together. So why we're doing that? It's because of that opportunity we have ahead of us. So the world population is of 8 billion. 5.3 of that are what we call in the middle class. So that's the biggest group that is growing. And they demand more food. They demand higher quality food. And they demand more protein. And that is actually both a challenge because farmers need to produce that much more with less land, less input, in an environment that is more stressed with sustainability challenges, with more regulations, with more legislations, and want to do that in a way where also when they kind of grow animals, do that in a way that animals are treated well and in a welfare environment. So these are, I think, the hot topics. It's in the center. It's really kind of driving food security for a growing population. And again, some call that a challenge. We think that is an opportunity. Because how do we meet that challenge is in the core of what we do, as I said earlier. So we think to unlock these opportunities and overcome the challenges is innovation. Innovation and technology is in the center of that. And we heard Chris saying there's all different kinds of words, and I don't know if there's one right definition, but it's called precision farming, it's called digital farming, it's called decision farming, it's whatever it is. That's basically, we can debate about what the right term is, but I think we all understand what's in the center of this. Technology, data-driven, AI-driven, autonomy-driven will be the next leapfrog in agriculture. So we saw greening and we saw GMO that was in the past, and now the big thing is now going around innovation. And one of the key pressure points for a lot of farmers, what we hear is that they are facing labor challenges. That is actually really in the heart of wherever you are in the world, that there's not enough skilled labor, motivated labor, engaged labor that really wants to drive a tractor, that really wants to go into the chicken house, that really wants to produce food. I think personally it's great to be in that industry because that is never outdated, but there's a lot of people that again don't really like what we do there. So we put that on top of everything. And I want to talk about two things in the next couple of minutes. One is food security, because that is really something that is in the center of it, and then the sustainability part. So according to the World Food Program and a lot of other research that has been done, a third of our produced food from the field is lost within the harvest, after harvest, or then in the supply, in the value chain. So a third, that is a massive number. So actually agriculture and farmers would produce enough calories to feed the entire world. But there's a lot of loss, and then the distribution is not right. So that is something that we want to tackle, and the first thing we want to do is to prevent these losses. So only in the US, a tenth of the whole corn harvest, for example, is lost. So this is a big number if you imagine how much corn is produced in the country here. So we are trying to address that by innovating around storage. And it looks simple, it sounds simple, but this year we are launching a new silo design. If you think about a silo and if you just pass it on the highway, you will never ever tell a difference. But we were able to produce silos to make to reduce food losses significantly, because these silos are now better sealed. There's no kind of environmental impacts getting in, so the food is not kind of molding inside. It is get better treated. It kind of stays there and does not get lost in that storage process. Also, what is part of that is the sustainability effort in order to how we produce and what is produced. So that silo, as you see here, what we call Evo 50, kind of uses less rings, right? These rings that building up a silo. So that means less material. That means less production. It uses fewer stiffeners. So it provides the same quality like older silos, but with much less material and with a better outcome. So this is just an idea how, again, what we innovate and where we kind of work on. And this has also been developed with a university partner up in Illinois. So this is just an example how we leverage research, how we leverage university capabilities to bring new products to the market that have a better outcome for the environment, for the community, and for the farmers itself. Drying is the next step, or is another step in the harvesting process. So we're also innovating in the drying process, and we have come up with a new dryer that we call Pure Flow. And here in the center, it's 20% more efficient. It needs 20% less fuel, less energy, with the same outcome. So the same quality with 20% less. That's a huge impact on the environment, huge impact on the society, huge impact for the farmer on its profitability. And why is that important? Because if you have ever thought about the kind of intersection of when you harvest, how dry you harvest, how long you store, how much you dry, that entire system is something that we wanted to improve. So it's not only about the individual bits and pieces, it's about how we kind of address invisible field losses if you harvest too wet or too dry, how you minimize machine harvest losses because of that moisture that really matters that runs through the machine, and how you optimize the profit out of your drying operations, because you don't want to dry the corn too dry, because then it loses weight, and with that weight you lose profitability. But you also don't want to have it too wet, because with that wet you have the high risk that it molds and that it's getting not in the best quality and best condition. So I think the two examples that I showed you are pieces of an entire chain, and we can talk more left and right. We can add now the combine harvester to it. We can add the planting part of it. So that's exactly what we are working on with AGCO, how we improve that entire system to when we plant, how we harvest, when we harvest, how we dry, how we store. So that's I think the fun part of AGCO, that we can really kind of look into that from an end-to-end point of view. Another example I brought with me is animal welfare, something that is also close to my heart. I think every farmer really cares about the animal they raise. It's basically their livelihood, it's their income. But also we think that there is more we can do in order to produce animal protein in a more welfare way, where animals are free of stress, where free of fear, where they have the nutrition they need, where they have the light condition they need. So there's a lot we can do in order to address that. We have put that actually also in our sustainability strategy. So this is something that we in AGCO really want to be a thought leader on. And that's also why we have created that partnership with UGA here. So we have we're making a significant investment at the Research Poultry Center here to really understand how can we raise chicken better, how can we grow animals better, addressing the animals' need, the society need, and the farmers' need in terms of finding the sweet spot between welfare, sustainability, and profitability. That is something that is not easy to do, that requires a lot of research, because it requires also different parts playing together. It's the environmental control, it's the equipment, it's feed and nutrition. So therefore, we're also inviting other industry partners to that platform, to that network. For example, Evonik is one of them. They're providing nutrition, that we see how these also impacts how we better grow animals. Talking about animals, we have also put together an animal welfare advisory panel. I think that's the best panel in the world. We not only have a couple of UGA experts on that panel, but we also have the entire value chain here again represented on that panel. We have experts from the grower side, so farmers. We have experts from the integrator side, Tyson. We have experts from the retail side, Whole Foods. We have academia with UGA. We have equipment manufacturers. So I think that is really something that brings that entire spectrum to life. And we're getting all these different viewpoints on how we can create a better environment to raise animals, and how we kind of develop equipment to that. So I'm pretty excited about that. We have brought that to life by the end of last year, so we're kind of really gaining speed on that. And I think we're the first ones in the industry that are doing that. So I'm excited to see these outcomes. This panel also brought something to our attention where we wanted to invest in, and that's something where we're also always kind of looking at. So on that panel, we also have now, we have a gentleman from Germany, and that gentleman from Germany has pointed us into a little company that is out of Spain, Barcelona. That company is called Ferromatics. And they've created a very exciting new thing here. So they actually brought digitalization to broiler production. And they have developed the very first, it was a little startup in Barcelona, there are 12 people. They have developed the very first ceiling-mounted robot that kind of monitors and operates in a chicken house 24/7. It has multiple sensors on, it's collect data about the animal itself, but in the heart of that thing is that it has a camera built in with AI that actually identifies the droppings of the chickens, and with the droppings, the quality of the food conversion and the health of the birds. So it's a pretty exciting development. We have launched that this year on the IPPE show here in Atlanta, and we're bringing that to farmers here in North America this year. So it's, I think, a lot of cool stuff that is, again, addressing that food security and quality element while driving animal welfare. So we talked about that product is called Scout. I don't know, we have a little video here just to show that. Again, that robot just goes to the flock 24/7. It is connected to a monitoring center that actually sits in the UK. That monitoring center collects the data. It operates and it supports 16 farms around the globe in 8 different countries. So this is really kind of how global production, how global food is produced. And it is something that you can retrofit in any barn, in any kind of building. We're also thinking about how we bring that into swine production, so I think a lot of exciting stuff. And just again, to bringing the connection to university in, that product was developed together with the University of Barcelona. So another platform where, again, university research, exploring that is happening in the university was brought to life into a product that we can actually develop. And having that said, that is an important part of our DNA of how we think about research, how we think about development, how we think about explore, is partnerships across different parts of the industry, so to say. And you see here some kind of industry players. I mentioned Evonik, I mentioned AWS as our partner in terms of data managing and artificial intelligence. But you also see a lot of logos from universities all over the place. Again, we are really proud and really excited to have that partnership here at UGA, right in the front yard of our headquarters in Duluth, Georgia. But we're also having good partnerships with other universities. And as I said, what you saw earlier, this is actually how we think that product development, that problem solving can come together. So we really believe that a strong educational partner, a strong research partner, plus the capabilities that we bring into play, plus, again, other partners that we need to leverage in order to bring something to life are the secret to our success. And last but not least, for some of the students in here, we're actually also kind of always looking into how we kind of bring people in. That's another big part. So I think the research is one thing, but we also are interested in employing people, bringing people in. We have a lot of great internship programs across all of our different industry university partners. Approximately 1,000 interns per year with kind of joining different real-life projects. So whoever's interested in that, send us an email. And then, of course, we want to make sure that from an internship, you also move into a full-time employment, because I think that is the exciting piece. If you're really interested in producing food and that purpose of farmers feeding the world, then there's a lot of opportunity with an AGCO right here in front of the university. And we want to provide these opportunities and are looking for really bringing interesting, exciting people in. So that's all from my side. Really looking forward to answering questions or having discussions after that. But with that, handing it over to you, Mason, I guess, right?
Thank you, Stefan. Are you okay with a few questions from the students?
Of course.
Okay. Thank you, Stefan. Very interesting. If I ever thought there was a limit to what robots could do, scanning the droppings from chickens, and that's super important, really interesting. I wanted to open it up for questions. I know we have a few students here that have put some thought in, and Rowen, again, very much focused on the future of talent, the future of these industries, because it's about today, but it's also about creating that sustainable pipeline of talent that Chris and Stefan and I have been talking about even leading up to this conversation. So any questions from our students, not to put you on the spot, and if no questions, that's fine as well, but if there's of interest, please, here, let me get you the microphone. And introduce yourself, give us a little bit about your background. Sure.
Good morning. My name is Stefan Caspari. I'm a psychology and economics double major. I'm a senior, so I'll be graduating in May. And I'm also very involved in the entrepreneurship program, so very excited to be here and to learn about all the exciting things that are happening with Rowen. And I think just, it's so cool that you all are thinking so much about the future, and I think the initiatives around agriculture and the environment and medicine are really, really cool. And I'm just thinking about all the students that I know that are engaged in projects that I feel like would be interesting for you all to talk to too. So my question is around, you talked a lot about kind of the focus on farmers, and especially in my experience in the entrepreneurship program and also in the student industry fellows program too, we put a lot of emphasis on putting people first and using a human-centered design approach. And so I'm just kind of wondering a little bit more about what that looks like in terms of the Rowen project and how you all are going about putting people first when it comes to the innovation that's happening with Rowen.
The Rowen question or is it an echo question?
I'm going to let you start. I was grabbing you a microphone.
Both, because I feel like they're partnered, right? I guess on the ag side, you're putting the farmers first, but then, with medicine too, it's the patients or the researchers, that kind of thing. So I guess on a lot of my experience, it's always been about a lot of people have cool ideas, and then but focusing on the people that we're helping and the problems that they have and how we can help solve that.
Good.
Go ahead.
Then I start first. So obviously, let me speak for the farmers. So so I think what we said, we want to put the farmer's success in everything what we do. That's a strong statement, and we kind of measure that basically on a daily basis in order to see what can we really do to improve farmers' life and farmers' productivity. We have a lot of farmer-focused activities where we bring farmers into our design work. We have customer panels, we have platforms where customers can contribute. We have, as I said, farms where we can apply technology, where we apply our own technology, where we also apply competitors' technology to really see how we can make a difference in order to provide their better success. So that farmer-centric element is really kind of a design element of all our processes. We bring them into all our basically work on a daily basis, and trying to kind of use their knowledge source, obviously, their problem understanding, their capability also to problem solve. They all have great ideas, these customers, to bring that into our design work. And that's not only for the equipment part, it's also, again, how do we provide services? How do we provide information? How do we leverage data? What can we do? So that monitoring center, what I said earlier, that is actually had been developed by a farmer in the UK. So he actually created that little company because he thought he's better in managing poultry barns. And it turned out that he is, because he's now, again, bringing more and more other customers into the play here. And together, we're able to drive productivity for farms around the world because they don't need to sit next to him because of the technology we have here. He can actually do that remotely in any place in the world. Hope that gave a bit of a flavor to that.
And I think for Rowen, we are really seeking to be, and Provost, you alluded to this, to be a platform, to be a connector and a catalyst between those wonderful minds in industry that have solutions, but also with those that are in the field or in the lab or in the hospital or in the institution that are aware of a problem long before the rest of the world is. And to have a platform that's accessible, that's collaborative, that has an open invitation, that's diverse, and you're hearing voices and questions and ideas from a variety of different sectors. I think that idea of convergence is especially exciting to me because we think about food, but we also think about the food that we put in our bodies has a direct connection to our health and wellness. Our health and wellness has also impacted the environment that we grow up in, the quality of the air, access to clean water. And those conversations are just critical to our collective future. So my vision for Rowen, our vision for Rowen is really creating that catalyst connector platform to bring those brilliant minds of today and tomorrow together to come up with those solutions in partnership. So hopefully that's helpful. It's a great question, and thank you.
I think there's lots of students who would be like really interested in, who have a lot of enthusiasm. I was thinking as you were speaking, students that I want to direct towards this, because I think there would be a lot of enthusiasm. So any way you're interested in engaging students, happy to help.
Thank you, absolutely. The opportunity to come back and speak to students directly and listen, right? Sit down and listen to see what those ideas are. How do we draw those out and create a focused conversation around it? That's perfect. Another question? Great. Please.
Hi, my name is Guru Singha. I'm a second year studying finance and international business here at the University of Georgia. And my question was more follow-up question from what Stefan was mentioning about the controlled environment spaces. And so it's a very valuable situation for a place like the United States that has a lot of technology and but then again, agriculture is a global need and necessity. So and we are also facing a lot of supply chain issues right now. So how do you think those kinds of controlled environmental spaces could be utilized in the whole the global supply chain aspect of it, and how it can be expanded into more developing nations and lower income areas?
Yeah, that's a good question and a good point. So I think you elaborated on that. Food production is global. So food production is something that, I said it earlier, there's enough calories produced around the world to feed basically everybody. Unfortunately, not in the right place. So that is a problem that needs to be solved. And also there's a problem that, again, not everything that how we produce is always sustainable. And also bringing stuff around the world is not always sustainable. So bringing controlled environment, bringing new farm practices, vertical farming, so there are a lot of different ideas out there closer to where the food is consumed, I think is an important piece. There's obviously, again, technology involved in order to get there. There's kind of research involved. Right now, there's not a lot other idea, kind of substitutions, how to really produce like mass, right? If you want to produce like what you see in the US, corn for food, for fiber, for fuel, that is not done in a vertical farming somewhere close to cities where people live and where they need the food, right? But overall, I think we need to kind of investigate and we need to explore opportunities where we can further see that the supply chain issues, the distribution of the food is addressed and bring the food to where people need it and where people need to have it. The Ukrainian-Russian crisis is a great example, right? So who have ever thought outside of people in agriculture that there's a wheat shortage all of a sudden, right? There's sunflower seed shortage because that, again, is so globally intertwined and we have pockets in the world that produce much more than they need. And we have other pockets in the world they have not enough. So I think that is something that we need to solve and where, again, more controlled environment systems can help to overcome that challenge.
That's great. Thank you for your question. And a final question? Did you have one you'd like to share?
Sure. So my name is David Hahn, and I'm currently a sophomore here studying economics and finance. And so I'm a business major, but I do have a bit of experience with agriculture. I did 4-H for most of my life. And I guess my question for you is, you talked a lot about smart agriculture, and I do believe that is the future. And at the same time, we have people working on cities with a growing population and increased urbanization in the future. That is going to be an issue that people are working on. How do you think that these two are connected, and what do you envision that intersection looking like, both now and in the future?
That's an interesting question. The short answer is I don't know. But if we think about it a little bit, I think I would come from, again, the consumer point of view, and I think consumers become more and more educated. They want to really know where food is produced, how food is produced. And if we now think about, again, where the urban world and the city world comes together is finally also about data, right? So where traceability, where's the food coming from, how is it produced, when it was produced, how much do I need? Again, also if kind of all that data flow about how much is consumed in that city at one point in time, you could maybe optimize the entire value chain and direct oversupply to other places instead of wasting it, right? I think that's something that could be something that you can explore, but I'm really looking forward to you guys as you at the university kind of maybe exploring these kind of ideas and bringing us in, right? If you have ideas, let us know where we can maybe benefit from and where we can maybe join forces to overcome some of the challenges you're addressing in your research work here.
Great. Thank you, Stefan. Let's give Stefan one more round of applause.
Thank you
again
Thank you.
for your time.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all again for joining us this morning. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning in launching Rowen's thought leadership. This is just the beginning in our partnership with our higher education institutions. And it's the beginning of the listening and then implementation that we get to do together. Our next thought leadership event will be later this year. I don't think we've landed on a final date, but Georgia Tech will be hosting it. We have our board member Bert Reeves here and excited to hopefully welcome you all back. We'll be down in Midtown somewhere on Tech's campus and have a conversation that again is focused on the future, those areas of convergence and how we work in partnership to get each other there. So thank you again. Have a wonderful day.